Our first review is Bros. Bros is the romantic comedy. It is starring Billy Eichner and as well as Luke Macfarlane. Billy Eichner plays Bobby. Luke Macfarlane plays a character named Aaron. People might know Billy Eichner from things like Billy on the Street. He also did the voice of Timon and The Lion King. He also did things like he also was in American Horror Story, the last kind of the Coven season of that show. He was in that as well. So he's kind of popped up in kind of different places here and there, doing some kind of performances. I think this is the first time I've ever seen him in a lead role in a movie. I know he has like a TV show as well that he's
different people kicks ass.
Yeah, which I have not checked out, which I know a lot of people with his brand of comedy, it can be kind of hit or miss for them. I mean, some people find him kind of very obnoxious and loud. And if you don't like Billy Eichner and you think he's very obnoxious and loud, well, he's very loud and obnoxious in this as the character of Bobby, who is in a traditional kind of romantic comedy setup where he plays a guy that you see in a lot of these romantic comedies, or a woman in some kind of cases too. Where he's like, listen, I'm not the relationship guy, I don't do relationships, but I'm happy though, I'm satisfied, I'm good, but yeah, I think I'm just kind of giving up on that and kind of more focused just on me and my career and what I'm doing. And Billy, his character, works at a museum. They're doing a big event, which is all about celebrating the history of LGBTQ+. I'm surprised I said that fluently as I did there. And I'm doing good. I'm a true ally. I'm doing great work. So he's working at a museum there. He's doing the whole history of that. And, during that, he works like with a committee. And when you see this movie, you'll see a lot of other like major, actors from the LGBTQ plus community in this movie. So you might say, oh, this person or that person that you might see that, are probably significant names and figures in that kind of community. So you have that here until, as common with romantic comedies, you have somebody who he sees and kind of just turns his whole life around and kind of go like, maybe I do want to give this relationship thing a chance. And that is the character played by Luke Macfarlane and Aaron. Hunter, what were kind of some of your thoughts on this movie?
Yeah, so going into this, the director and the co-writer, along with Eichner's Nicholas Stoller, who's done several things that I enjoy. Forgetting Sir, pardon me, Forgetting Sarah Marshall is one of my favorite romantic comedies ever. I think that movie is fucking brilliant. And it really just shows how incredibly messy relationships can be. I think Neighbors and Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising kicks so much ass. I love both those movies. He was a producer on The Muppets, which still just have such a soft spot for that movie. And Get Him to the Greek, which I think kicks so much ass because it takes advantage of Russell Brand's insanity. And if you go back and watch that movie too, it's like Aziz Ansari, Nick Kroll's in that movie, like blow up. Oh. It's crazy.
Aziz Ansari pre-Parks and Nick Kroll pre The League.
Yeah, like it's crazy how many comedians are in there that you go, oh shit, you're gonna be really great in about 5 years. And and so watching Bros, I was talking to Nick about this. It's the whole Black Panther thing in the sense of if they fuck this up and it's not good, they'll go, well, we tried, and then they won't try again for another 5 years. So I was really like, come on, Bros, please be good, please be good. And it's not a good movie, it's a great movie. It is a genuinely great, heartwarming, uncomfortable at points film. I saw it with my partner and her friend, and in speaking to my gay friends about it, and all my other friends who are allies or identify with the community, it's so cool to see people feel like they're being seen because of this movie, and it not being something tied to what we were talking about earlier with Till, where it's tied to tragedy. Because boys don't cry.
Which is one of the best jokes in the movie.
Yeah.
Because they address a lot, because Billy Eichner has he gets so many moments where he gets to break down a lot of not just LGBTQ plus history, but a lot of just their depictions in media up until that point. Because we've had very few like great examples where a openly gay man was both involved heavily in front of and behind the camera. One that isn't Ryan Murphy, who I've dubbed the Tyler Perry of the LGBTQ.
Fair.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but it's one of those things where it's so cool to see that representation, and because when you think about gay, like LGBTQ films, uh, God, Happy Season, But I'm a Cheerleader, Call Me by Your Name, um, Carol. I know I'm mentioning films that don't star, LGBTQ. I get that before anyone jumps on me.
Well, isn't
Like what?
isn't the lead a cheerleader? Isn't she?
Natasha Lyonne is, yeah, but I don't think her co-star was. Again, if I'm wrong, that my
Okay.
bad. But the amount of people who don't know "But I'm a Cheerleader" exists is astounding. Because when I bring that up to people, they're like, "Wait, what is that?" I'm like, "You haven't seen that?" So, but those films aren't advertised really at all either. So, seeing a movie like this get a lot of, I think they could have advertised it more. But seeing a mainstream film like this come out is really revolutionary, and Lord willing, it becomes more of a thing, because it'll always be seen as pandering until it's commonplace, unfortunately. But this is a movie. Please go out and see this shit. Like it's an amazingly well done film, and I know we'll get into the nuts and bolts of it, but nuts and bolts. Uh, but one thing I love about this movie is it talks about the cannibalism within its own community, and that's something that I've talked about within the Black community. And a lesser written film would have just stayed away from that entirely, but it addresses a lot of the ways that the movement in the community can improve, and that's something I was really impressed by.
Yeah. Nick.
Yeah. Speaking back to that, a lot of the representation of LGBTQ uh, stories, a lot of them have been mostly told by straight people. There's like even a movie I love, like Love, Simon. The lead actor in that isn't gay. He's playing it, and they even joke in the movie about how it's like most of the representation of gay stories was straight actors going for a cheap Oscar ploy. Even something like Call Me by Your Name, which I've spoken to many an LGBTQ plus movie, they hate that movie mostly because it's not romantic. It's a story about a grown ass man grooming a 17-year-old.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that is
But
true.
but again, go back to something we talked about with our review of Barbarian and to an extent Lego Batman. To really break down a trope and to make it funny, you have to understand it down to its minutia. And Billy Eichner, who understands that to a T, is one of the smartest people working today, and one of the funniest. He gets so many moments where he just breaks down all of the crap around the LGBTQ community and how they're represented, and bringing real possible solutions of how they can improve. And also, this movie manages to tell a really sweet romance with really sweet, really messy love story between both his character Bobby and Aaron Shepard, who is played outstandingly by Luke Macfarlane.
Yeah.
He's so charming. He's delightful.
Yeah. And this movie, it is very formulaic. If you've seen at least 3 romantic comedies in your life, then you probably already know where this is going and where the beats is going to hit and what's going to happen. And just because something's formulaic doesn't mean it can't be good. And I think that this is an example of that, where the execution matters, and you have a good script, you got good characters, you got great chemistry here, and really good actors who work well together. Billy Eichner and Luke Macfarlane, they work very well together, and you see kind of the course of their relationship, and you are rooting for them kind of to get together, to be together, because they, it's a situation where kind of a little bit of opposites attract, where, Luke Macfarlane's a guy, it's like, he's all, constantly get called a meathead and hangs out with other meatheads, and kind of that's his whole thing, and just caring about purely his.
I think, another character called him hot but boring.
Yeah, and you kind of just see more stuff of about his life and what he's kind of going through, and then how it kind of more he can connect with Billy Eichner's character, which I liked a lot. And I was kind of thinking about comedies I've seen this year. I was trying to think of I was like, I can't remember a lot of really great comedies I've seen this year, but this one stands out definitely. I think this is maybe one of the funniest movies I've seen this year. After coming out of it, I thought that, because there's lots of great moments in here. There's lots of good humor moments that work really well. The stuff where he's amongst the committee of all the other people, I think they all have a really great kind of back and forth, and that works really well. And speaking about, we're going to be doing a story about Community, doing a movie. The principal from that from Community is in this as well. He's
Hey, Academy Award winner Jim Rash.
Jim Rash.
Yeah.
I forgot, what did he win one for? You won for writing, right?
He won for screenwriting The Descendants.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so and then he's funny with his whole thing of just talking about just being bisexual. It's like, that always gets left out of the whole LGBT, Q plus. It's like nobody ever talks about the bisexual.
Forgets about the B.
So I thought that was really good. I thought that was kind of really funny. And there's lots of kind of good moments in here. And then he even has like a relationship with a straight couple where they have kids. If you're one of them people that's like, all this gay shit is indoctrinating our kids and all that other stuff, well, they gonna have
A, fuck off. B, continue, Josh.
Yeah, there's scenes where the kids are gonna be around where they're talking about him being in a relationship with a man or anything like that, where the kids are around and the kids know about it and all that stuff. So if you're one of them people, then maybe this is not the movie for you. Maybe you want to kind of skip this.
Get triggered, Snowflake.
So this stuff, which I thought the relationship he had with the straight couple was really good. I thought that was kind of really fun, and how he would kind of come over and talk to them, so I thought that was good. And like I said, I mean, he does play that kind of archetype of those kind of characters you see in romantic comedies, which not necessarily is a bad thing, of playing the curmudgeon kind of person. Like if you saw like Natalie Portman in No Strings Attached, or Amy Schumer in Trainwreck, or something like that. It's very similar to that kind of character type of, the kind of the curmudgeon about relationships. But I think Billy Eichner does a good job, and he plays it very well, and talking about all the different issues in the LGBT community, about the stuff like, hey, it's very similar to like if you were part of a marginalized community, if you were part of, just speaking to someone like me who is black, speaking about, hey, representation in movies. It's like, why this shit has always got to be so sad all the damn time. You see all these different gay movies like Milk or Brokeback Mountain or Boys Don't Cry, or something's always got to end with somebody being Bohemian Rhapsody, which just was a tragedy, just in everything about it.
They make fun of that shit, and I was so happy they did, because he's like, "Oh, you take one of the biggest queer icons we have, and make it about that one time he might have sort of slept with a woman." I was like, "Oh my god, thank you, thank you so much for speaking on that."
I clapped at that one.
Same. And they call Caitlyn Jenner a
trans terrorist.
We have trans terrorists. Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, bravo movie.
Yeah,
bravo.
So I like the last
running. And my favorite running joke in the movie is the Hallmark channel, where they just have a whole bunch of different romantic comedies pandering. It's like, your polyamorous Christmas.
Yeah, that was that. It's like, it's Christmas for all of us. Like, oh Christ! But they started doing that over the last couple years, though. So it's like, you're not wrong.
Yes, it's brilliant.
And And it's funny, like when you really watch a movie like this about, kind of romantic comedy about, just because it's about two gay people, I think you could still relate to it because it deals with a lot of couple shit. It deals with a lot of like insecurities in relationships that you may have, dealing with is your partner kind of maybe out of your league. It deals with stuff like, there can be, also annoying, kind of gay people too, which they kind of touch on as well in this movie. I forgot what was that guy's name? The one that just tried to really insert themselves into the whole situation. I forgot Steve. I think Steve. Yeah.
Oh,
Steve.
Steve.
Terrible.
Yeah.
He is the worst.
Yeah. So I thought that was
the
kind
worst,
of
but that was the most. I was laughing throughout the entire movie.
I thought that was really, I thought that was also another funny scene in the movie that they do with that. Yeah. I had a good time with it. I really did. Nick, what about you?
Yeah, but speaking to that kind of trope about the curmudgeonly, it's like trope in romantic comedies about how, you have this person who I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm happy with my life, focusing on work. I don't do relationships. When I think the movie turns from really good to great is there's this moment between Billy Eichner and Luke Macfarlane where they're just hanging out on a beach and Aaron just drops a line about how confident Billy Eichner's character is. And then Eichner goes into this almost 4-minute long monologue about a lot of the roots of that, like, fake it till you make it confidence and a lot of his own insecurities about having to like tone himself down, about how his voice is like too gay, or he had to like tone down his own personality and his behavior to make others comfortable and get ahead. And it's a really emotional moment that I was almost tearing up at. And I had no idea that Billy Eichner was this incredible of an actor.
Yeah, which you got to think he's probably drawn on a lot of real life experiences, you know what I mean, of stuff that he had to do to kind of make it.
Absolutely. He's one of the screenwriters on that.
Yeah. Did you have any issues with the movie at all, Nick?
Me, I'm very curious to hear what Hunter has to say about this.
Yeah.
Because I think we might have the same issue.
So in one of the trailers, they even make fun of the fact that, in gay scenes, they start hooking up, and then the movie like cuts away, and they literally do that at a point in this movie, and I wait, I'm like, you can't pull that shit. Like, now, admittedly, there are some more kind of graphic sex scenes in this, but they do pull away, and I went, you've got the rated R rating, fuck it, like.
I mean, it's about as graphic as like a normal rated R comedy sex scene.
Yeah, I mean, so kinda, because like even fucking Forgetting Sarah Marshall, you get
Jason drops dong.
Yeah, we get dong in that, and it's like I can't get dong in a gay movie, like in like a movie about two guys, like. And by the way, quick PSA as a straight dude. I know there are people like, oh, I don't want to see gay sex. Like, that doesn't turn me on. You get that's not for you, right? Like, not everything is in the world to fucking turn you on, so shut the fuck up. So people who's having that argument, just stop. But I was disappointed, honestly. I was like, no, dong, boo. So
you want to see Billy Eichner's dick, huh?
Yeah. I mean, let's. Billy let it fall on the street, but
Billy's Willie.
Yeah, I was actually exactly.
Billy's Willie. Are you allowed to show penis though in a movie, in an R-rated movie?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sarah Marshall's rated R.
So Superbad, they show several drawn penises.
Yeah. So I was actually like, all right, like you make that point in the trailer and then you run away from it, and I don't like that. So that was a gripe for me.
Okay. Was that the same issue, Nick, for you?
Not really. I don't really have an issue with this movie. I was laughing throughout the entire thing. Even though there are a couple like gay love scenes that are played for laughs, enough of them are filled with enough emotion between two characters involved. It's more the group stuff that is played for laughs.
Mm.
Yeah,
That you do see at least one of them in the trailer.
Yeah, in the R-rated
that
trailer,
was
you'll see.
amazing.
Yeah, in the R-rated trailer, you'll
Yeah.
see it. Yeah. For me, I'm gonna give my final thoughts, and then I'm gonna give my rating for it. Yeah, I think this is maybe one of my favorite comedies of the year. Like I said, I did really enjoy the chemistry between the two leads. I like the cast. Everybody, there's some good, funny supporting players here as well. Like I said, the committee that he's on, with for the museum, I think that's also, they provide a lot of good stuff there when he's not doing the relationship stuff. They also have a cameo that kind of comes in this movie that they talk about. I thought it was so. I don't know. I thought that was kind of maybe the stuff with them. It was a little bit funny, maybe, but I thought it was kind of like, it's kind of so.
True. I know what cameo you're talking about, but there's another one that is one of the highlights of the movie.
True. So there's a cameo by a female, and I'll leave it at that. But as a big fan of that show, I love that cameo. Like, I own the whole series of that show, and I was like, oh, that's really fucking funny. And it's at a point where Bobby's having a breakdown, and it's almost kind of like the mystical Negro, but in a straight woman.
Subvert. Yeah, it's the it's the magical, mystical, straight female best friend, and a subvert of that trope that had me dying laughing.
Yeah, that made me really happy. And then there's actually a cameo from I don't want to say the actress's name, so I'll say that she was on a very prominent 90s sitcom on Fox, and I'll leave it at that. Where this person had come out in the 90s, like even before Ellen did, and she was really one of the first people who was actually directing TV shows and directing stuff. And so seeing them in this movie in a small role but still a pivotal role, it was that made me really happy, because this person's really done a lot for the community, and seeing them kind of get their due in a movie as important as this, I was like, that's fucking cool, right on. So you'll know it when you see it, but it's pretty awesome when they show up.
Nice. I wouldn't say I have any major issues with the movie. I think it's has a good runtime. It's almost about 2 hours. I think the humor works pretty well. I don't think it ever goes like, maybe you could have cut maybe 10, 20 minutes. I think it paces out the jokes pretty well and works pretty well and flows pretty nicely. So I would give it a strong tune in for me. I think it works a lot on levels of what a romantic comedy should work, and does that formula and does it to perfection. And it's something you would want to see in a movie like this. So, strong tune in for me. Nick?
Same. The biggest thing you would need to ask for a romantic comedy is you have to have chemistry between your leads, and you have to actually be funny. And when the eventual split happens between the couple in the movie, because that's one of the beats of a romantic comedy, it has to be for an actual legitimate reason between the two of them, and they nailed it here. This is a great romantic comedy. I think it's funny. Billy Eichner, this is his coming out party as both a comedic and dramatic actor. And Luke Macfarlane, he is a guy to watch, and I cannot wait to see if Nicholas Stoller does another one of these comedies, because he is so good at directing these. He's like one of the few out of that whole Apatow company that actually knows how to write and pace these movies.
Yes.
Yeah. Hunter?
Wait, Nick, you gave it a tune in?
Yes, very strong tune in.
Very strong tune in. Okay. Yeah, I think to Nick's point, the jokes are paced out really well. The emotional beats when you have to hit them. And I'm going to dog on this movie for a second. Just after seeing Don't Worry, Darling, and seeing how Harry Styles just wiffle balls on those emotional moments here, and you're just like, God damn, you're just not built for this yet. To see Eichner step in on those emotional beats and actually nail them, it's like, yeah, this is, one of these is not like the other. Like, it's one of those things where you go, okay, thank goodness you can do this. And I haven't seen Luke Macfarlane in a ton of stuff, but he's right there with Eichner in those emotional beats, because it does take two to tango for some of the those moments. Not getting too much into spoilers, but there is a moment where um, Luke's not Luke, his character, his parents are involved, and that in the way they just kind of turn the dial on that tension and on the uncomfortableness. It's like, oh shit, like, oh, take the off ramp, and the way that scene plays out is unfortunately very realistic, especially in the the terminology that's used. And I just went, oh, heard stories about that. So the movie's incredibly well crafted. Please go support this movie. Like, if you want more movies like this, you gotta go support them. Please, like, for the love of God, support shit like this. This is a low. This is cinema for me.
This is cinema.
I dug the hell out of this. I cried very hard at multiple points. I'm excited to own this when it comes out. Again, could have used more dong, but what are you gonna do? But, but
Yeah, you need more dong. You need to balance it out.
Exactly, but this is something that everyone should see, regardless if you're an ally, if you identify with the community. Like, go see this, because it's well worth time.
Nice. So, this is cinema, and 2 strong tune-ins, and that was Bros.